convictions. And honestly, you're assessing whether this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, right? Maybe you've, even before this all came on, were already assessing like, man, maybe in the future I'll sell this business. Maybe in the future I'll move on to this other dream in my heart. But now it's kind of been accelerated as a thought in your mind. You're really asking the question, man, is this what I want to do forever? And I was thinking this morning about my story and how across the span of my lifetime, I've had the opportunity to transition out of my existing business that I was in into the next impact-driven dream that was in my heart, and kind of my process for that. And so I wanted to break that down for some of you guys because I thought it might help someone today. So one of the things that I think about with this is that when I go back to the original story, right? So at the time I ran a real estate investing company. And we were doing pretty well. We were a six-figure entity, and we'd scaled pretty quickly in the midst of kind of the market rebound after the 2008 crash in a specific region. But just honestly, the dream for me was always what I would do with the wealth and the capital that we accumulated and accrued. And it came to this point in the business where, I could have continued to stay highly involved in the day-to-day of that business. But my partner was actually much more passionate about the mechanism. So we worked together to package up the systems, really systemize, scale it up, get things where they needed to be. And then ultimately I sold my shares of the business to my partner and said, you can take that. And I was able then to transition into actually one of the impact-driven dreams, which was in my heart, fully, which was actually helping a mentor of mine plant a church, came on board, was an executive there for many years, an executive, leader and pastor. And it's interesting as I go back through my story because even previous to that, there was another nonprofit I had started that I then had to systemize and scale and set up the right leaders and staff correctly and put the right team in place to transition it to him as the leader and then move on to the next impact-driven dream in my heart. And as I was thinking this morning, there really was like a formula that emerged. I've done this 3 times now. And the formula is when you, as a visionary, know that what you're called to ultimately is something else than what you find yourself doing currently, there's a couple things you need to be doing. Okay, so the first thing is you need to be building systems. I already said this, but systems are a key to freedom and leverage. And as somebody who is a visionary and has dreams in your heart, you need leverage. You need more time and you need more resources to be able to pull off this impact-driven dream that's in your heart. So to get that leverage, systems are your best friend. And I'm designing a training on this. I might just share it live next week, but I'm designing a training right now because I think systems have become this nebulous thing that gurus talk about where you wave a magic wand at your business and you go abracadabra systems and suddenly things get systemized and everybody tells you that you need systems in your business. But what are they? And systems for me are simply defining how you deliver your vision so that someone else could deliver that vision consistently the way that you would want it to be done. And so when you define that clarity, when you map out that clarity and then really, help empower the people on your team who are process-minded to help you take that clarity and build it into a step-by-step process, suddenly you have a system that someone else can follow and they can duplicate the vision that's in your heart consistently without you doing it. So it really comes down to that. So the first step in the roadmap and the path that I was thinking about back from my story is you've got to systemize. You absolutely have to. The second thing is you've got to staff correctly. And this is where, for me, I did this wrong for a lot of years. And a lot of my passion for this area comes out of pain. Most entrepreneurs are terrible at shoot from the hip hiring. We have a need. We have a pain, we have an unmet role in our company. And so we kind of shoot from the hip and we're like, oh, I need this person. Oh, I need this person. And then we end up wasting a bunch of time and a bunch of money on people who don't end up working out because they're not A players. They weren't uniquely gifted and had the unique ability to do that role in the first place anyways. So they weren't really set up to win. And we just didn't set our company up to win. And I think this shoot from the hip hiring, right, it comes out of a place of need and a place of desperation. But you really do have to have a strategy when it comes to this, right? You have to know with clarity what problem are you trying to solve, right? And you have to design the success profile for the role before you find the right person. It's kind of like the idea of like if you were trying to design a key, or you were trying to find a key, right? You would have to know the shape of the lock, right? In order to insert an object in there and have it click and have it turn, you'd have to know, exactly the shape. So not the most elegant example ever, but you guys understand my point. It really does come from a place of vision clarity and what are you trying to accomplish. And especially when you're trying to systemize your company and scale it so you can either sell it or you can step away from it, you got to have clarity around the team that you're going to need to accomplish this and exactly the profile of what those people look like. And so the second thing is you got to staff correctly, right? You got to build your team, and you've got to build a culture within that team where people who you empower can actually show up for your clients and for your brand in a way that represents you well without you having to be the one who's there and having to do it. And that's an art form that we could elaborate on. I probably will in some future videos. Let me know in the comments if you guys would like a little bit more talk about, I'm building something right now called basically how to create a cult-like culture, which sounds a little dark and negative, but not everything about cults is bad. Some people might fight me on that in the comments. There are some things that go wrong there and go bad there, but anyways, long story short, you have to build the culture. So you got to systemize, you got to staff correctly, right? And then the third thing is you really have to determine your end game, right? And there's two S's here, right? So one is, do you want to sell, right? So that you can invest, or do you want to start something and step away? And there could be a combo of these two. But you need to get clear as a leader, if you want to transition out of your existing business, get clear about what your end game is. What is success for you, and what is your succession plan here? Is it to sell your business, right? Get it to kind of a systemized machine and a winning team and then be able to sell it to someone? And so that way you can then kind of take the resources and the newfound time freedom that you have and invest that in the impact-driven dream in your heart? Or is it not so much you want to sell it, you want to keep that as an asset, but you want to be able to step away, right? Not be as involved in the day-to-day, right? Not be as involved in the day-to-day, but keep that as an income-generating asset so that you can start a new business, a new dream, impact-driven dream in your heart. Sometimes that's a complementary business to what you're already doing. Sometimes it's a nonprofit arm or a foundation that is a little bit more impact-driven. Sometimes it's totally different and something you just had a dream in your heart for a long time and wanted to do. But you really need to get clear about that end game. What is the end game for you when it comes to scaling your business? And that will determine exactly how you systemize, how you staff, how you scale up, and then ultimately whether you sell, whether you start something new, or some combo of the two. So hope to help somebody today. That's been my journey and my process. If you need any help at all, or would like somebody to brainstorm and get perspective on in this season on how to systemize, how to scale so that you can step away or sell the existing business that you have, I'm here to help. Feel free to shoot me a message or let me know in the comments. We'll brainstorm a little bit together. Hope this helps somebody in my story today, guys, and can't wait to talk to y'all soon.